Helluva Boss desperately needed this more than ever. That's right, peeps. Helluva Boss has just recently moved to Amazon Prime, and with this move, they've released a brand new episode to coincide with this merger, with Episode 1 Mission 0. Yep, Episode 1, because this is a prequel episode that has now taken the spot as the very first episode to Season 1, and this move will be quite controversial. After all, why would you suddenly create a brand new beginning to a show that's already getting a third season? But in actuality, the more that I think about this, the more this might just be the thing Spindlehorse desperately needed now more than ever. So we need to talk about it. And the fact that there is now zero excuses anymore for Spindlehorse. Hey guys, it's the Pink King here, and yes, your eyes don't deceive you. A brand new episode of Helluva Boss was just released, but not on YouTube. As if you had seen my update video from a few months ago, you'd know that Spindlehorse have struck a brand new deal with Amazon in order to air their newest episodes of Helluva Boss on Prime a month before they get released on YouTube. So now, instead of being able to watch it for free, you'll need to cough up a subscription in order to watch the episodes sooner rather than later. Now, this is a very important thing to keep in mind, because in the past, especially with Season 2 of Helluva Boss, it has been struggling in terms of quality, so much so that its fanfare has decreased dramatically over the years of these episodes coming out. So I can imagine that a lot of you people watching this video will probably not be keen on paying more for the same schlock, so if they want to make this Amazon deal work, they're going to need to do something dramatically different in order to justify that new price tag. So, after seeing Mission 0 for myself, what did I think of it? Is it worth the extra price, or is it just the same slop as we've been getting before? Well, I was actually very surprised watching this. Mission 0 is the definition of a return to form, as this picks up just before the pilot and the first episode, with the Imp crew essentially trying to plan and figure out how they're going to go about a certain assassination. And despite the very simple premise, it actually works really quite well, because the shorter runtime here forces the creators to get creative with their writing, their pacing, and their jokes. And when I say short, I mean short. This is the shortest episode so far, with it coming around only 13 to 14 minutes long. That's not a lot of time to do stuff, but surprisingly enough, I felt like they made that time work better for them. At no point did I feel like this episode dragged on too long or it felt too brief. It felt like just the right amount for the story that they were trying to tell here. And I actually felt like this shorter runtime is far more healthier than the 30-minute time that they usually give us. With them keeping this episode very focused and straight to the point, not allowing any events to unravel unnaturally, it also helps each of the jokes to roll off one another much better, because despite what I initially expected going into this episode is far more funnier than I initially was thinking, because the timing, the delivery, and the subject matter, all of it felt really natural here. Heck, it was so good I actually found Blitz's and Stolas' dynamic here funny again, because unlike in Season 2, it's treated like it was in Season 1, not so serious and something to essentially be a gag at, and it works really well. Yes, it's over the tops in terms of being disgusting and crude, but the problem with Vivziepop's comedy wasn't the fact that it was crude, it was the fact that they had no self-control over it. And that's a pretty common misconception around Vivziepop's writing, the fact that her comedy, being swear words and whatnot, is not funny, but in reality, it can work, it just matters how much of it you do and when you do it. And thankfully, in terms of Mission 0 here, they really understood when and where to put certain jokes, and by carefully doing that, it helped to make the more shocking and crude moments, like with Blitz and Stolas, have the intended shock factor and comedic factor that they were aiming for. Now hold on, peeps. Do you want to be featured in a video? Just like MD, Artistic Gyron, and the epic Nicholas Warrior? then you need to subscribe right now. I'm on a mission to get to 20,000 subscribers, and I need your help in order to reach that goal. So, if you want to help me on my mission and potentially get a shout out, then you need to subscribe right now and comment down below saying you subscribed, and who knows, it might just be your name that's the one featured in the very next video. But with that, let's get back into Helluva Boss. Again, it's all in how they structure everything here, not being so careless, but really understanding what it is this series' strengths and weaknesses are. Would I say it's peak Helluva Boss? No, but it's a step in the right direction. And you know, I actually think this is a much better first episode than Murder Family was, because not only does the subject matter allow us to get a proper initial insight into who the characters are, but it sets up the rules of the world, what the imps actually do, and introduces the audience in an organic way that it feels flawless. With this clearly being their welcome to Prime Video gift to us, it certainly accomplishes its goal of being a fresh start, if you will, for not only the series, but the fans also. Because it's no secret at this point, the longer this series has gone on, the more and more divided the fans have gotten. With a lot more reliance on pleasing the fanships and less on being consistent with the series. After all, I've practically made an archive at this point detailing the downfall of Helluva Boss as someone who, while isn't a die-hard fan, is certainly a fan of this series. And that's something I don't think I've established much. Yes, I'm very harsh on Helluva Boss, but there's a reason behind that. You see, this series holds an important spot, that being the face of indie animation. And so, with a much bigger team than most other indie projects, I have a hard time calling it indie anymore. And so, when you hold such an important spot like that, whether you like it or not, it does come with a lot of considerations that have to be made, because what you do now not only represents Spindlehorse, but may represent indie animation as a whole. So for those of you wondering why I'm always so harsh on it, it's because it's in a position that a lot of other creators would pretty much kill to be in, so it's important to always make sure that it represents that niche it's in well. Is it fair? Probably not, but this is the position they're in, so they have to play their cards carefully. And for the longest time, they've simply not been doing that. But that might just change with this new move to Amazon, as while I'm not going to get my hopes up too high just yet, this first entry in Amazon's partnership is a really good confidence booster for everyone, I imagine. And this merger could be the very thing to get the series back on track, because let's be honest, after this, there is zero excuses now. They've proven to us that they can still make good stuff with the Helluva Boss brand. They've shown us that they can still make something entertaining and function well with Helluva Boss, so there's no more excuses for anything like Season 2. I swear, if they go from this back to the quality of Season 2, it's a clear sign that there's a problem with the direction, and that needs to be solved fast. So, in conclusion, what did I make of Mission Zero? Well, it's a much needed step in the right direction, with it managing to make me laugh and keep me invested in its characters just like how they did in the early stages of Helluva Boss. Mission Zero is absolutely worth a watch, even if it's a little short. After all, it's only 13 to 14 minutes with not a lot going on, so it's not like this is going to be a must-watch something. But if you like Helluva Boss, or if you're trying to get into it, I recommend watching this episode first, because it's quite a good time, and I feel like it helps introduce you to the world much better than they initially did. And hopefully the team at Spindlehorse will use this episode as a much-needed reminder to keep the quality up. But what do you guys think? Did you enjoy Mission Zero, or were you disappointed by it? Let me know down in the comments what you think of it. And if you enjoyed today's video and want to see more content just like this, then be sure to like and subscribe. But with that, peeps, it's been the Pink King here, and I will see you all next time.